So I got some really helpful letters from some people who I won't embarrass them by naming them, saying, an election's just been called, will you resign today? So I said, thank you very much for your helpful advice. I'm always prepared to listen to comradely advice from wherever it comes, but on this occasion, get lost. We then went into that campaign on an opinion poll rating of 24%, which was not very good by any stretch of the imagination. I knew it was difficult. But I said, we'll go out there and we'll campaign, because we have not had a fair deal from the media. We have been sidetracked by the attacks on us and by the undermining. We have been sidetracked, and it has damaged us. No question about that. But we'll go out and campaign. And what I noticed was, at the start of that campaign, was the numbers of people turning out for events. It was extraordinary. I went to a canvassing session in Warrington. They hadn't even selected a candidate. There were like 300 people there for a canvassing session on a Saturday afternoon. And then went to Crewe. There were 500 people in the square waiting to go canvassing. They hadn't even selected a candidate. And so I thought, there's something, we're really getting a message through here. And once, as Steve quite correctly pointed out, the broadcasting rules had changed because of the election being formally called, we could get out there and actually get a message out. And so we went out on the campaign trail all over the country. The election was interrupted by the appalling tragedy of the bomb in Manchester that lost us some days of campaigning. And I felt that was an appropriate moment to make a point about British foreign policy over all the years, whilst at the same time absolutely condemning the Manchester bombing. And I was pretty rapidly condemned by just about everybody for doing that, until YouGov did a telephone poll 3 hours later, which showed there was 60% of the population said I was broadly on the right lines on the analysis that I put forward. And so to say that people weren't prepared to listen to an alternative voice is simply not true. So we went through the campaign with the rallies and demonstrations getting bigger and bigger, and we managed to do about 100 events by the end of the campaign. But there was a whole lot, as Steve and James and Alex and others have pointed out, going on in the background that was much more unsavoury. I was being told that my strategy was wrong, that there was no way you're going to win on this kind of policy. People don't care about manifestos, they're not interested in policies, and we just need to go on a defensive strategy and hope we get through and save a few seats. And I said, look, I'm sorry, you guys just need to get out a bit more. Just go and talk to people. Even if it's only going as far as Brixton, just go and talk to people about what their concerns are. Steve was telling them that every single day. And we were getting contrary advice the whole time, which was obviously designed to be undermining. We continued with the campaign, and the result was, as you well know, what it was at the end of it. The largest increase in the party's vote during a campaign ever in history, and only for the second time in the history of the Labour Party did we win a majority of votes in England, which hadn't been done before. So to say that the party was unelectable was not true. Len and others were concerned about the long-term decline in the Labour vote in what are now termed red wall seats. I hate the word because it never existed before the Daily Mail invented it. But you know what I'm referring to. We were concerned about that decline, and Len worked very hard, as did many others, campaigning in those constituencies to build up the Labour vote. And what I had been elected to achieve in the party was a change in policy direction, and we did everything we could to achieve that. But it was also about changing the culture of our party, to go away from being a purely electoral machine to being a community-based organisation through community organisers that would build up the support of day-to-day struggle of people. And the Ford inquiry acknowledges that this was one of the determinants that we were putting forward, and also the most difficult thing to implement within the party.